right, sports fans, welcome back to the Spanish Fork Recreation 2024 Thanksgiving Dodgeball Tournament. We are here in Gym B. On your screen right now, we've got Patches of Houlihan and the Sharks. Sharks on the right side of your screen, Patches of Houlihan on the left side of your screen. First time we've seen Sharks on the court here tonight in this side of the sports arena. But not the first time we've seen Patches of Houlihan. Let me tell you a little story about Patches of Houlihan. Once upon a time in a forgotten rec center that smelled faintly of sweat and disappointment, a ragtag group of misfits formed a dodgeball team called Patches of Houlihan. Named, of course, after the legendary mentor from the true dodgeball gospel, Dodgeball, a true underdog story. Fueled by caffeine, blind optimism, and a profound misunderstanding of the rules, these misfits set out to make a name for themselves. At first, they were more notorious for their creative strategies than their skill. In their debut match, their star player, Big Rick, forgot the golden rule and tried to block a ball with his face. Another teammate, Stacy, discovered mid-game that catching a ball doesn't count when you scream and drop it in terror. Despite these setbacks, their enthusiasm was unmatched. They quoted Patch's immortal wisdom with religious fervor. If you can dodge a ball, if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball. And occasionally even practiced it, much to the dismay of the local hardware store. Only 4 players remaining on the right, but something changed the day they played their rivals, the Ballbusters. Down to their last player, dodging Danny, they faced elimination. Danny closed his eyes and muttered, "What would Patches do?" And leapt blindly into the air, and a move so uncoordinated it defied physics. He spun mid-flight, dodged 3 balls, and accidentally caught a 4th with his armpit. The gym erupted into chaos. From that moment on, Patches of Houlihan became legends in the dodgeball world. They didn't just play, they performed, and they entertained. They added flair to their dodges, moonwalked through eliminations, and perfected the art of talking trash in iambic pentameter. Though their win-to-loss ratio remained laughable, their spirit inspired every underdog who'd ever dreamed of dodging greatness. Now they're not just a team, they're a movement. People wear their mismatched jerseys, or in this case, t-shirts, to tournaments. Opponents whisper, "Is that the Patches of Houlihan?" And somewhere in a celestial dodgeball court in the sky, the real Patches watches and nods approvingly, celestial wrench in hand. Sharks down to just 1 against these veritable titans of dodgeball in Patches of Houlihan over here. That means the money ball is in effect, so our lone Shark player over here has the opportunity to make a basket. If he makes a basket on the opposing team's basket, his entire team gets to come back in. And the catch, and he's out. That means round 1 of match 5 goes to Patches of Houlihan. All right, we are back for round 2 of match 5 here in Gym B. Sharks are now on the left side of your screen, and Patches of Houlihan on the right. The Sharks now showing that they are true underdogs with 1 loss so far in this round. That doesn't mean they can't make a comeback. Let's tell you a little bit about the Sharks. They were the scrappy underdogs of the dodgeball scene. Newcomers with something to prove and everything to lose. Hailing from a neighborhood gym with duct-taped floors and a questionable lighting, they were a motley crew of misfits united by one thing: pure, unfiltered grit. They weren't polished, they weren't fancy, but they had the bite to back up their bark. Hence the name, swimming into your hearts. Wasn't all guts to glory, though. Their first tournament was a disaster. Balls flew past them like guided missiles. Their dodges looked more like flailing interpretive dance. They ended their debut match with 0 points and a lot of bruises, physical and emotional. But after years of therapy, instead of hanging up their jerseys, which were thrift store t-shirts hastily sprayed with a shark logo, they leaned into their scrappy reputation. They didn't have the skills, but they had heart. And heart, as it turns out, can be terrifying. By their next match, they doubled down on chaos. Their strategy, intimidation. They circled the court during warm-ups, humming the Jaws theme ominously. They named every throw the finisher, Sharknado, Great White Smite, and celebrated wildly every time they eliminated a player, even when it was an accident. Their raw energy and rules are optional style threw seasoned teams completely off their game. Then came the moment that put the Sharks on the map. In the semifinals, facing the reigning champions, the Ballistic Bulls, their smallest player, 5'2" Sam Lil Snapper, made the play of the century. Caught between two cannonball throws, Sam leapt into the air with a shriek, somersaulted, and somehow managed to grab both balls. The crowd went wild, and the Bulls, stunned, fell apart. Though they didn't win the tournament that year, the Sharks left a lasting impression. Their opponents learned to fear their unpredictable play style, and the fans loved their scrappy underdog spirit. Now every tournament organizer knows to clear a little extra space for their post-game celebratory Shark Tank dance. An awkward yet endearing group flop on the gym floor. The Sharks might be rough around the edges, but they're hungry, fearless, and here to prove that sometimes all you need to succeed is a little bite. Down to just 3 players, now maybe 2, just 3 on the left. The Sharks definitely are down to just a little bite. Let's see if they can swim back from the edge of destruction to cinch a win here in round 2 of match 5 in the B gym. I always want to say East or West gym, even though I'm pretty sure we're facing North and South right now, so that wouldn't make a lot of sense. 2 players remaining, a solid throw, went for the catch to bounce off the wall. Patches of Houlihan is now down another player. Just a reminder, Patches of Houlihan won round 1, but that doesn't mean that the Sharks can't make a comeback. They are also down to just 1 player remaining, which means the money ball is now back in effect. Can he make a basket? A little high. Part of the risk is if you throw that ball too high or too soft, and it makes it easier for the opposing team to catch it, which knocks you out. So you got to hope it hits and bounces off something. You also got to be really careful when you reach out for those catches. And he went for the catch and missed it, which means Patches of Houlihan has won round 2, giving them the win in match 5 here in Gym B. We'll be right back.